Next question. Best player you played with or against at
Blake
American
Griffin.
University? Oh, you
Blake
played
Griffin.
against Blake.
Yeah. So sort of. I'm cherry picking. I was still recovering from my torn ACL.
Yeah.
So I didn't actually get to play in that game, but we opened my senior year at Oklahoma for Blake's sophomore year when
Yeah.
they were really good. They killed us. He had like 7 top ESPN Sports Center top 10 plays in that game. He's about the only player I've ever stepped on the floor if I would have and been intimidated. I was
Wow.
legit intimidated by him. Let's see, other NBA players I played against, Roy Hibbert. We beat Grievous Vasquez. If people remember Grievous Vasquez, he was at Maryland. We actually upset them at Maryland. It was actually the best collegiate game I had. So those are some NBA guys I played against.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. That
DeJuan
Blake
Summers.
Griffin one.
DeJuan Summers, right? Wasn't he a Piston? DeJuan Summers. I'm pretty sure.
The last name rings a bell, but
yeah, he got drafted by the Pistons.
There you go.
Second round pick, DeJuan Summers. He was my matchup when we played Georgetown. And lots of times people lie about their heights. So the scouting report said he was like 6'8", 230 or whatever. I was like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, sure. I walked on the court for the jump ball. I was like, oh no, he's like actually 6. And I'm 6'6", 220 at this time. But I'm like, oh Lord, he's actually 6'8", 230. Like this. And then Hibbert's 7'4" monster. And it's like, oh man, this is a lot. So
I love it. Well, I'm just going to give you a heads up. That Blake Griffin story might be getting cut up into a video of its own. Because that is awesome insight.
Yeah. Real quick, when we played my first year, when we played the NCAA tournament, we played Tennessee. Bruce Pearl was the head coach at Tennessee. And we're going through the handshake lines after the game. They ended up beating us. And he stops and he asked me if I'm Jewish. I was like, that is the most random question I've ever been asked in my life. And I was just like, no. He's like, oh, okay. And we moved on. Well, I had to Google it. And it turns out he's Jewish and he coaches this like Maccabi games or something like that. And so I don't know if he was going to ask me to play on a team or how all that works or whatever. But I was like, oh, it was a very random interaction that I had no idea until I was able to Google it and find out. So, yeah, so some pretty cool interactions. So
definitely. That's awesome.
Jack,
that's awesome insight.
When we walked into the gym, Blake Griffin was warming up and drenched in sweat. And this dude is a monster. Like he is, everybody's seen him. Everybody understands. Like it was so intimidating. He's going through his pre-game routine like he doesn't have a game that day. And it was just like this guy. And he's just such a physical specimen, so athletic. Like, and the other thing is his brother was on that team who was pretty athletic as well. So very athletic Oklahoma team that blasted us by 40.
Was their dad the coach as well? Or no? No, maybe I'm
no, not in college.
So. Yeah. No, okay. But yeah, I remember his older brother. No, Blake, the one I had one NCAA basketball game here in Australia, and it was the year Blake might have been 09 or 10. I can't remember. Maybe 08. But yeah, he was on it, and I was like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
So,
yes.
But okay, a couple more here. I promise we're wrapping up. Favorite moment so far covering the Pistons? Can be anything, a play, an interaction, anything.
I tell myself never to underappreciate when I get to go to a game credentialed and sitting on the sideline before the games, going into the media room, meeting all of these people. Like, listen, like people are going to be, it's truly the relationships I've got to build. Like real friends, people like you watching your growth and what you've become from where you started. Like we all start pretty much with nothing. Like, I don't mean that to say, but like you just all of a sudden start building a following, you start a podcast and you see how it goes. That's truly like all of that stuff is that's why I keep doing it, to be honest. Like I love it, but it's a lot of that, like walking into a gym. I'm sure you've experienced this and like people yell your name and want to say hello because they listen to the podcast. Like, are you kidding me? Like I'm a nobody in Southwest Kansas and people are excited to like say what's up because we share this Piston stuff. So that's what it is. Truly. That's all of those moments are what it is.
I love it. And I'm with you. Like, it's so cool. Like here in Australia, like just getting chat to yourself about Pistons basketball and like everyone in the Pistons community, the creators, and just meeting people like the few I've got to meet in person so far, who I'm sure I'm going to meet more sometime in the future. Like it's awesome. It's like you can't. It's something you just keep coming back for. It's just part of you now. It's why I'm doing it, trying to do it full time, because it's like I just was at the NBL and I'm like I just can't give up this Pistons thing. I can't.
Yeah.
So
the fan base is cool as heck, man. Like they come out, they love it, and they're accepting of it. And there's so much good content creation, and they're taking in all of it to keep all of us going. Right. There's plenty to go around. So I love it. It's so much fun.
Last one, and then I'll let you get out of here, I promise. Best piece of advice for Pistons or NBA content creators. People, I'm sure people will reach out to you. Like, what's just one piece of advice you would give to them if they were getting started?
Work really hard and find what you're good at. You know, we joked at the top that when you were trying to find how to, describe my content, and I said boring. But the thing was, like, I never tried to venture away from that. Some people are a little more entertaining. Some people, that's their thing. That's not me. I knew that coming in, that I'm not funny. I'm not going to wow you with my personality or something like that. But I told myself when this all started that I was going to stay true to my personality, which was, I just want to talk hoops. And the other thing I'll say this is probably my better piece of advice. Every opportunity, look at everything as an opportunity, no matter what. Free, whether it's money, what I did everything for free when I started out, Jack, and I'm sure you did as well, right? And I never thought I would make money doing this, but I've grown into that a little bit. I had somebody, and this was probably one of the more disappointing. I reached out to somebody about something and they turned me down because they literally said to me, "What is in this for me?" And I wanted to say to that person, a relationship, somewhere along the lines, it'll pay back, an opportunity, and take advantage of every single one, right? That's why when you reached out to me 4 years ago, if you were willing to care enough about my opinion to reach out to me, who am I not to respond? So that would be my take advantage of every opportunity, because you never know what it may turn into.
Perfectly said. Couldn't agree more. Yeah, and if anyone reaches out, like I'll try my absolute best. Like I'm actually having a chat with someone in a couple of hours who it's like a full circle moment. They're reaching out to me. I'm like, what the hell? But it's like, it's lovely they would reach out, and I would just want to help them as much as I can, like you did for me, and I'm sure others have done for you. It's so true. Everything's an opportunity, and I love how you brought up the money factor as well, because you should. At your core, I feel like you want to do this for free. You do it for free, and it might not be as big a part of your life if you do it for free, but like, I love that advice.
Jack, I would say don't be afraid to reach out. And the thing is, you're going to get some no responses, right? Like,
oh yeah.
And your inbox is way more busy than mine, and Koo's is crazy. Like I know this. And so maybe it doesn't always, I can't tell you how many non-responses I've got, but I wouldn't have got some of the yeses I did. The KOC thing, like he followed me for whatever reason, and I immediately reached out. I sent him a DM and just said, "Hey, KOC, appreciate the follow. Love what you're doing, whatever." Like, I don't know if that's why he ended up asking me on or not, but I saw an opportunity and I took advantage of it just to say hello and introduce myself. And that's paid off way more than the times where I've reached out and somebody's quote unquote big time me, or, not had the time for me or whatever.
No, it's so true. And I'll just finish this here. Like, I think I DM'd, it might have been Howard Beck, who I think's at the Ringer now. This is a while ago. And obviously no response for a while. He got back to me 6 months later. And he just said, "Sorry, Jack, I missed this." So a lot of the time as well, people just don't get to it. So don't be discouraged if you don't get a response in a day or two, because it doesn't mean they're big timing you. It just means they've just doing something else, and they might get back to you when they do. But don't ever let that stop you from reaching out to anyone.
Yep, I agree 100%. Listen, over at the Game Theory, I had somebody reach out about offering some services to the podcast over there, just cold DM to me. They had emailed Sam like 12 times or something like that. And Sam has ADHD, and he would say this himself. So he's like awful sometimes Sam doesn't respond to me, and I'm his co-host. But I think something's going to end up happening for this person with game theory. And it was complete cold DMs and emails and stuff like that. Like, you got to be willing to hear no, you got to be willing to do work for free. But the other thing is stay true to yourself. I had people tell me, oh, you got to be a little more hot takey. And I'm like, listen, if that's what it takes for me to grow, then I'm not doing it. Like, I'm going to talk about basketball the way I want to talk about. And so far it's paid off.
Definitely. Perfect advice. I could keep talking about this for a minute, but because I love this part of the show. But just that's such good advice for anyone watching that wants to get into the space. Like everything Bryce just said, then take that and run with it. Thanks so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and drop a comment below.